This conference will now be recorded.
Wi-Fi here, yeah, because we're on AT&T.
Okay. Oh, okay. Thank you.
Charles, this is the agenda right here. He added some stuff.
Okay, super. Thank you.
It's 5:30. We'll call the meeting to order. Roll call.
Commissioner Ginger,
Here.
Commissioner Jennings,
Here.
Commissioner Rogers,
Here.
Commissioner Warren,
Here.
Mayor Skillen.
Here. Those who would like to join us in prayer in the pledge of allegiance. I've asked Mr. White to do some prayer tonight.
Everything. Father, I thank you for all your blessings that you've given us, and I thank you for all your health of all the people that are here today. Father, we ask for your wisdom tonight for the city commissioners as they consider the businesses coming before them. And Father, we also ask that you be with those that are presenting, help them to be able to speak clearly and to be able to get their point across without any issues. We ask for your blessings over our first responders as well as they serve our city and keep us safe. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Any additions or deletions?
Yes, Mayor, we'd like to add under new business, under City Manager Department number 3, a motion to apply for a 2023 Trails application to Community Development Block Grant.
So moved that we had that.
It's been moved and seconded. Did we add a motion to apply for the 2023 Trails application to the CDD grant? Is there any discussion?
Move we adopt the agenda as amended.
Second. Moved and seconded. We adopt the agenda as amended. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. We have a recognition of Jennifer Wagner in the Finance Department as the recipients of a EFOA Distinguished Budget Presentation Award, Special Performance Measures Recognition, and Strategic Goals and Strategic Recognition. Jennifer?
I'd like to present her plaques if we can.
Okay.
So obviously with any business or at home or anything like that, you know, fiscal management's very important. And I think we probably have one of the best teams to do that here. So they've won the Distinguished Budget Presentation Award for many years now. And then this year they were able to get the certificate of recognition for budget preparation and the other things that you mentioned. So they
Congratulations. We appreciate all your hard work.
Appreciate it.
And finally, the recognition you deserve.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Consent agenda.
I move we approve the consent agenda for the regular meeting of April or February 22nd, 2023 special meeting minute.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The same sign. New business.
1 second.
Good evening, Mayor and Commission. Rosemary Saunders from Ransom Financial. The purpose of the public hearing tonight is to close out the Community Development Block Grant that we were awarded back in 2021 for the mill and overlay of Summit Street between Kansas Avenue and Radio Lane. We met with the state on February the 23rd. They reviewed our files on the project here at City Hall. They found no deficiencies on the project and gave us permission to move forward to close this project out. At this time, you can give any comments, positive or negative, in regard to the project as a whole before we move on to the next item.
Do I need to open a public hearing?
Yeah, I need to read the item first.
Okay, let you read the item.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. No, you're okay. We had a technical difficulty. So, okay. The City of Arkansas City will hold a public hearing for the purpose of evaluating the performance of the grant number 21-PF-002 for the purpose of street improvements consisting of milling and overlay of Summit Street from Arkansas Avenue to Radio Lane.
Okay. This time I open for a public hearing.
Well, as I stated, sorry.
Okay.
is,
Make a motion.
Yeah, that motion needs to be seconded, please.
I'll second the motion, or you can second it.
Yeah.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, as I stated a little ahead of schedule, as we utilized local funds and CDBG for the completion of that mill and overlay of Summit Street. Total grant funds we used on the project was $394,500 out of the grant award of $455,000. The city's share, which partially was reimbursed by the KDOT cost share program, was $383,117. So project completed within the time frame that was required by the grant program. And like I said, no deficiencies were found during the state monitoring visit on February 23rd.
Any comments from anyone else? We need to close the public hearing then? Need a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and second to close the public hearing. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Okay, in order, do you need to read that, Tiffany? I don't want to jump ahead.
Okay. Item number 2, authorize the mayor or mayor's designee to sign the appropriate documentation to close out the community development block grant number 21-PF-002.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and second that we authorize the mayor or the mayor's designee to sign the appropriate documentation to close out the community development block grant CDBG number 21-PF-002. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
You have something to say?
What's the motion we're voting on?
We're voting on whether to sign,
So the mayor or the mayor's designee.
We basically closed out the grant with the first one, so this is just authorizing the mayor to sign that we've closed it out and there's no issues with the Summit one.
Okay, that's what I was doing. Do we need the motion?
Yes,
Yeah.
Okay, we didn't get the motion, I don't think.
Yeah, we did.
yes, the motion is,
You did?
have a motion and a second.
Got a motion.
Who did the
second.
motion?
maybe
And who
I
seconded?
did.
Okay, all right, I'm sorry, I missed
stated the
that.
motion and asked for any discussion.
Yeah.
Okay.
She asked for the vote. We was getting ready to vote.
I'm sorry.
Do you have anything to say? I'll call
I'm
for-
sorry.
Okay, we'll call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Motion carried.
Okay, item number 3, motion to apply for a 2023 trails application to
It's a new
CDBG.
item right here.
Okay, did they have any additional information in their packet regarding?
Not on this, no.
Okay, so what we discussed was the city has received the Sunflower Trails Foundation grant for $50,000. One of the new categories for the May 1st deadline for CDBGs are sidewalks and trails. So what was discussed, if council approves to apply for the trails between the swimming pool, north to Northwest Center and the Levy Watson Park area.
Yeah, and we've applied for several other different grants with the same project. So we have a shovel-ready project here, plus we've got some funding already in place. So with the short time turnarounds on these grants, it just seems like this is a good one to.
And the state likes to see collaboration between the agencies, and by utilizing the Sunflower Foundation grant, that would show collaboration with existing state agencies.
So who will be doing this grant for us? I mean, when we get it?
Well, so we'll have Ranson Financial do the grant application for this.
And you'll have to take bids on it to do it?
Correct. If we're awarded the grant, then we'll go out to bids on the project.
Okay.
Yeah. It'll be another CBDG grant, so it'll have the same parameters and things that we just saw with this grant. They're pretty
Yeah.
good.
That being said, I make a motion, we apply for the 2023 Trails application to CBG, or CDBG, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion?
I'm not tracking, apparently, very good. The path of this trail is from,
Yeah, so it'll start at Paris Park and there's that.
Basically the 8th and Chestnut, right? Kind of that where it's already at, the park.
Yeah, and then it'll go up, what street is that that has the
Sixth
street?
Sixth Street.
Levy Watson.
okay,
And tie in with, tie in there, the Northwest Community Center and Levy Watson.
okay.
And then that's kind of the next.
That's just another leg in it in terms of the continuous.
Could go on further north to Radio Lane
All right.
at some point, yeah.
Thank you, okay. Thank you.
Any further discussion? If not, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Okay, just for general information for the council, we will need to hold a public hearing. And based on the calendar and us pulling the information, we're probably looking at your first meeting in April. So we'll get paperwork processed so you guys can sign off on it at that meeting.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Item number 4 now. A resolution authorizing the city of Arkansas City to approve a bid submitted by New Windows for America to install vinyl siding, a new roof, new storm door front and back, new guttering, build a new cellar door, new windows, install a new guardrail, install a radon mitigation system, and secure electrical at 1209 West Oklahoma for an amount not to exceed $40,000.
So this is part of the $300,000 CBDG grant we received for housing renovation. The CBDG grant is topped at $25,000. Now you'll notice that in this particular bid, the price came in at $40,000. And so the nice thing about SCED, they are able to take some other grant programs and fund this to get the project done. And so in this particular case, they're using a Kansas grant to pay $7,500 towards the roof. They have a weatherization of $1,000, and then they have another $8,500 they're taking off. And so the homeowner is going to need to borrow $2,900, and they'll pay us back the difference on that. So between what the homeowner is going to kick in and the other dollars that are available, they'll match that $40,000. So.
Is there a motion?
I'd make a motion that we approve a resolution authorizing the city of Arkansas City to approve a bid submitted by New Windows for America to install vinyl, to do the work stated in the item and for an amount not to exceed $40,000. Second. That saves me having to read all that.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Item 5, a resolution resolution authorizing the city of Arkansas City to approve a bid submitted by Rambilla Construction Company to install vinyl siding, a new storm door front and back, new guttering, new windows, and secure electrical at 1328 West Oklahoma for an amount not to exceed $20,123.
So a similar deal as part of that $300,000 grant. Now you'll notice that this project is less than 25,000, so it'll all be grant dollars. I might want to mention too, because I know there's been some comments about local contractors being able to bid on these projects, and there are some requirements for the local contractors. I know we had a public meeting last year inviting contractors in to meet the requirements. So that currently the ones that have bidded on these projects aren't from Ark City, but they're the ones that were qualified to bid on it. So if you know of any local contractors that want to be bid on these future projects, there'll be more to come. We're happy to hook them up with SCAD, and they can get the information they need to be able to bid on these too. So
Thank you for that information.
I make a motion that we approve a resolution authorizing the city of Arkansas City to approve a bid submitted by Arambula Construction Company to install vinyl siding windows at new guttering, front and back windows, and secure electrical at 1328 West Oklahoma for an amount not to exceed $20,123.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Item 6, consider a resolution authorizing the city of Arkansas City to approve a bid submitted by New Windows of America LLC to install window siding, to install vinyl siding, new roof, new guttering, new windows, install a new guardrail, and secure electrical at 1417 North 10th for the amount not to exceed $25,000.
Well, I'll make a motion, we consider.
sorry, same thing.
All right.
Sleeping there on you, sorry.
All right, I make a motion, we consider a resolution authorizing the city of Arkansas City to approve a bid submitted by New Windows for America LLC to install vinyl sidings, a new roof, new guttering, new windows installed in the guardrail to secure electrical at 1417 North 10th for amount not to exceed $25,000.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Randy? Have anything on this one, Randy?
No, same thing. It's just part of it. And it all, the amount, everything's 100% grant paid for.
Seeing no discussion, proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
All right, item 7, a resolution authorizing the city of Arkansas City to approve a bid submitted by New Windows of America LLC to install vinyl siding, new storm door front and back, new guttering, new windows, install a new guardrail, and secure electrical at 1422 West Oklahoma for an amount not to exceed $26,050.
Again, part of the same grant program. This one is over 25, so I think there's some, probably some authorization dollars going in to pick up that extra 1,050. So.
I'd make a motion that we approve a resolution authorizing the city of Arkansas City to approve a bid submitted by New Windows for America LLC to install vinyl siding, new storm door front and back, new guttering, new windows, install a new guardrail, and secure electrical at 1422 West Oklahoma for an amount not to exceed $26,050.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Item 8, a resolution authorizing the city of Arkansas City to approve a bid submitted by Arambula Construction Company to install vinyl siding, new storm door front and back, new guttering, new windows, and secure electrical at 1507 North 10th for amount not to exceed $21,276.
So again, same grant under the 25,000, so it'll be all or grant dollars.
Madam Mayor, I move that we adopt this resolution as stated in the agenda's text with the limitation of $21,276.
Second.
Been moved in second. Is there any further discussion?
Question, now all these that we've done tonight, that uses up all the money, or we still got some money left?
There'll be more. There could be up to 12 homes. This was 5 this time,
Okay.
so.
So when will the next ones come up?
Well, so we're, there's the grant so there'll be applications that the homeowners fill out.
Okay, all right, they gotta go through that process again.
That process,
Okay.
they have to be inspected, and so.
Okay.
I'm not sure do you know if any of you are in the pipeline right now?
Yeah, there's at least one more that's on there, and I sent another one to a resident just the other day, so.
Good.
We'll get some.
Yeah, and what I've seen in the past is when these projects get done, it does create more interest and excitement, more applications come in.
So is Mr. White, are you the staff contact for the applications?
For the application part, yes.
Oh, okay, so if someone wanted to apply, they would come to your office on the
Second floor.
second floor of, at City Hall and speak with Mr. White about applying for the said grant. I guess I'm going to ask that because the very first one, the amount required a cost share by the property owner. The rest of these, it seems, fit the economic profile for the grant. And so are those also requiring a cost share for the property owner or?
So if it's an owner occupied home, no, unless there's something that, like this first one, that they needed to get something done and they needed, but so owner occupied homes do not require matching funds. Now the landlord owned homes, they do require a 25% match on the grant.
So $quarter on the dollar for a landlord to make improvements. Okay, it's not bad. Okay. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Okay, item 9. An ordinance adopting the 2022 comprehensive plan and future land use maps for the city of Arkansas City, incorporating such plan and maps by reference pursuant of KSA 12-741, KSA 12-3009 to 3012, and KSA 12-3301 to 3302.
Lots of statute references in there. Mayor and Commission, I introduced this to you on Friday at the work session, but I thought I would give a brief overview for the public through tonight. The last plan was adopted back in 2013, so much of that content has become a bit dated because we're now 10 years past the adoption of that. We're supposed to review it annually. Sometimes that honestly doesn't always get done. It's a priority of mine to keep up with that over the next period of years. We generally try to do a major upgrade in the kind of the 5 to 10 years cycle. 10 years kind of the outside of that where we really want to be. Just to give you an idea, the plan before the 2013 was of 2003, so that's about where we're setting. This plan was reviewed, of course, by the Planning Commission starting all the way back in August of 2020, so right in the heart of our pandemic, which caused some wonderful issues there. But we did manage to get through every chapter, spent a lot of time on that. We also worked with the Beautification and Tree Advisory Board, the Equal Opportunity Board, and the Historic Preservation Board. So there was a lot of different boards that were involved throughout 21 and 22. And in December, the Planning Commission decided that they would set a public hearing for January 10th. They held that public hearing in January. Received some good input from some of the members of the public there, so we decided to table adoption until the February meeting, where there was a few minor changes made to the plan at that time, but they did vote to recommend that you adopt it at their February 14th meeting with those minor changes. I did include the entirety of the plan and the executive summary in the packet, and I'll leave that up to you for questions that you may have, or if anybody here.
Well, I spent 2 hours this afternoon on it, and I think it's one of the best readings I've had in a long time. A lot of history in that thing and a lot of good information. You guys did a wonderful job. I mean, it took you a long time to put that together because it's well done. That's all I can tell you.
And I have a lot of trouble reading things. This is a very easy read,
It was.
easy to understand. Great job, great
A
job.
lot of information, lots of information. I appreciate what you guys done.
Yeah, it's a really good spelling document, so it helps a lot to understand.
Being on the planning commission before, I know how much time and effort that takes. Painstaking at times, so I think Mr. Jennings was on that with me too in 2013, so. To the planning commission members, that's a lot of time. Those aren't quick meetings, so.
Right, and this was, I believe that everybody that ended up adopting it, they're all new. They weren't involved in the last round. Charles, I think you were at the beginning of the
I was on the
process.
front end of this review.
So,
And I attended a lot of the meetings, so it's really well done. Thank you.
appreciate that.
I think it's important, imperative that we take a moment also to acknowledge the guidance and the resource that the city staff person, Mr. White, represents in attending those meetings and providing needed, do I need to project more? Needed guidance and insight into not only the process, but the statutory obligations of the planning commission. I think we shouldn't, this is a good document. It's a good plan. The citizen volunteers put in a ton of work with that, but I think that we shouldn't fail to acknowledge that. I don't think it happens this way without the guidance of staff.
Goes back to leaders.
Right.
I appreciate that.
But most of us are not quite through it yet.
I totally understand that. Like I was saying on Friday, there's no rush to get this adopted. This gives an opportunity also for citizens maybe that weren't able to read it yet to also digest it a little bit.
So I'll make a motion, we table it till our next meeting. Maybe that time everybody have a chance to
Second.
clearly look at it.
Moved and seconded that we table this till our next meeting.
You want to just schedule it for the next meeting?
Yeah.
Post the same table. Okay.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion fine, motion carried. Fire and EMS department,
Yes, they're here to visit about a truck, so
You want me to present that item? No. Give me 1 second, because I don't have that in front of me.
hey chief, while they're waiting, would you want to update them on the 2 trucks that are needing some maintenance, so they're kind of aware of that?
Yeah. Good evening, by the way. So we took one of our engines up to Wichita. It was supposed to have a fuel rail repair under warranty. And by the time we got up there, we were called back over to the service center, and apparently it had sheared off. And if you guys want to see pictures, I actually have one on my phone, but it sheared off the top of the air cleaner. So it was laid, in layman's term, it was just sucking everything right into the motor. And unfortunately, we left it there so that we could see whether or not the engine got dusted. And apparently it has. Now, in that too, we're not sure. We're trying to figure out if it falls underneath that 5-year warranty, but it's a huge fight now between Cummins or is it Ferrara? Ferrara's given us some good information on how we can fight as far as how we can try to collect on the warranty. But as of right now, we're looking somewhere around $35,000, $36,000 for repair on the motor itself. The other truck that we have right now, which is engine 51, correct, is a Puck with a 1500 GPM pump on it. That's the other engine that we're using as of right now, but it has a lot of codes that are on there. So part of the problem we're having on that is with it being a Detroit motor, nobody seems to have the computer that we can actually go in there and take a look and find out what the codes are saying or what they're meaning for us so that we can get in there and fix that. So we're working on trying to find who has that we can read those codes and make those repairs. Stephen Baker with Winfield is an EVT, certified EVT, emergency vehicle technician. So we're trying to work with them as well so that it costs us $1,500 every time Conrad comes out just to drive out here to take a peek at it. So we're trying to find different avenues where it's not costing near as much so that we can see if we can make the repairs a little bit cheaper or just find out whether or not those codes are just update codes. So that's what we're in the process of working right now. You want to read? That kind of leads us into this agenda here. I'll let you read it.
Okay. A resolution authorizing the city of Arkansas City to purchase a 2023 Ferrara heavy-duty engine tanker with a Hell Q-Max 2000 GPM pump and a 3,000-gallon booster tank from the Firemaster Equipment Incorporated of Springfield, Missouri for amount not to exceed $88,400.
So apparently back in 21, they started doing research on what was best for the community as far as water supply, engine, to have that backup. Most of our pumps nowadays, when I started, it was still around 1,000 GPM, and we've worked our way up from 1,000, 1,200, 1,500, and now we're at a 2,000 GPM pump. Gives us better application. A lot of times it's over that amount, but it allows us for better water supply, overcoming friction loss in our hoses and everything along those lines. As everybody is well aware, we're still working on the water lines here and updating as we go along, but it also poses an issue at times where if we collapse a line, we pull a hydrant, we run out of a water supply in the middle of a work session on a structure fire, which is not good. So what this truck will allow us to do is not only give us a safety background when we're inside our city limits, but when we go outside of our city limits as well, where we have to start doing the tanker shuttle, we're starting with 3,000 gallons of water instead of 400, 500 gallons on the truck, and then hoping that we can get a bunch of tankers coming in. One of the issues we had, and of course, these guys did a great job. There was 6 of them on there that started this, and they started looking through what was going to be best suited for the people in the town. And they started taking pictures. We have some pictures of one of the tankers that we have. And so they came up with this truck here, which kind of gave us, 2 birds, 1 stone. So I'm going to let Tanner, if you guys do have any questions on what they were doing and what they were researching, but Tanner does have some pictures for you as far as what the tanker looks like that we're dealing with right now that has the 3,000 gallons. So would you guys like to see those?
Sure.
Tanner? I don't know if you guys know, this is Tanner, one of our acting captains at the time. He's doing a great job.
There's multiple different pictures if you guys want.
Yeah.
What year is this truck?
This truck is a 1994. The tank on the truck is 41 years old, and the truck itself is 29 years old.
You have a picture in there of the piping system, right?
Yeah.
So if you look at the piping system on there, part of the problem is the way the threads are put into the tank itself. So you'll notice the tape that's on there. Well, they're scared that if they mess with that at all, it'll mess up the threads that are inside that tank. If we mess up those threads, that tank is no good to us whatsoever. So those are some of the issues that we're having on that. And basically this truck will just replace that along with giving us another engine. And as of like right now, we have engine 52s out, engine 51 has codes that are getting thrown. This is a great backup. It's just kind of a do-all truck for us. You guys have any questions on what they were doing as far as research? And like I said, Tanner has been a part of that committee this entire time.
My question is, I need to have Jennifer come up and talk about finance on it.
So this will be a lease purchase.
Okay.
I believe we're almost 2 years out on actually receiving it, about 600 days. So as it progresses and gets closer to time, I'll go out for bid for a lease purchase on it.
So financially, we'll handle it. All right. Okay.
We just finished doing one lease purchase.
We just paid one off in February.
Just kind of.
Which one was that?
I want to say it was our AP. that we just paid off.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. And one of the other issues is kind of times of the essence on this one. You know, it does go through the HCAC, but if we don't start looking at this now, just like everything else, it's like every time we turn around, it's another 10%, another 10%. So by
March 15th,
by March 15th, this goes up to
917,000. It's almost a $37,000 increase.
That being said, I'll make a motion. Got to do it.
And by the way, just so you guys know too,
$37,000.
the engine 52 was from Firemaster as well, and honestly, they have been great to work with. They're literally leading us in the right direction to try to get 52 taken care of as well. So
I'll make a motion, we purchase the 2023 Farah Heavy Duty extruded aluminum engine tanker mounted on a custom cinder chassis with a Hale MAX 2000 GPM pump and a 3,000 gallon booster tank, not to exceed $880,400.
Second.
Moved and second. Any further
That's
discussion?
a lot of words.
yes, sir.
No, I didn't have anything on it.
Any other questions that we can answer for you? You guys good? All right. Thank you for your
Yeah,
time.
thank you very much.
We got to vote, though.
No further discussion? Proceed to vote.
Oh, Kenyon was.
Yeah, she seconded, someone seconded, Kenny, I think seconded.
Anything else?
What was the amount again?
880.
$880,400.
That's the piece?
Yes.
Purchase, yeah.
And we're 2 years off
Okay.
before we can get it.
Well, yeah, they say 2 years, but we're hoping within a year.
Okay.
And a lot of that was due to the COVID and everybody's, you know, labor shortages and everything else. So everything's picking back up now, everything's working good, but they were talking too that it might be within the year or two instead of having 2 years out.
Well, the 2 years is a safe projection, but they can meet or exceed that.
Thank you.
There's no further discussion. Proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Chief?
Okay. So this is the police department. And explain the Kansas Law Enforcement Accreditation Program, TELP, the police department is undertaking for the next 2 years.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. So excellence in policing has been something that it's been a journey that we've been on for at least the last 8 years. So back in 2015, under Chief Ward, we began a program called CALEA, which is Commission on Accreditation for Law Enforcement Agencies. That program helped us develop strong policies and procedures in sensitive areas when it comes to policing and law enforcement agencies. Fast forward to 2021, we saw a sharp decline in the number of personnel that we had. And so at that time, we had to make a tough decision to part ways with CALEA at that time. But that didn't mean that we were giving up on the idea of excellence in policing. Luckily, the state of Kansas came forth with a program called the Kansas Law Enforcement Accreditation Program. That program is run through the Kansas Law Enforcement Training Center. And when it was proposed at the end of last year, we identified that that is a perfect fit for our department. Lieutenant Jason Legleiter was tapped in as being our accreditation manager. And I will let him explain a little bit more about that program and process. It just so happens that I just came back from 2 days of training. I haven't even been home yet. I just came straight to the meeting to learn how to be an assessor for that state program. So after Lieutenant Legleiter's presentation, if you have questions about the accreditation program, we'll be happy to answer some of them.
Did you have to go through a test and stuff like that to get be able to do that, or?
Yeah, so
2 days of training or whatever?
2 days of training to learn how to assess other agencies once they get to the point of
being at the end of their accreditation period.
Okay.
I'll turn it over to Lieutenant Laybetter.
All right, well, I'll try not to take too much of your time. I do have a quick little PowerPoint. So as Chief Burr said, the Kansas Law Enforcement Accreditation Program, it was founded in 2021. So if you'll go through there, what happened was the state of Kansas recognized that CLIA itself could be a very expensive and task-driven application. You know, this is a national accreditation thing. At the time, the state realized that we were only one of 14 states in the nation that did not have our own state accreditation. So the state of Kansas or a state giving us information. As you can see just on the PowerPoint, out of the CLIA, there were only 12 agencies that were CLIA certified. So less than 3% of the state of Kansas had this certification, which gave them more information and make sure we had the best policies. So as that was identified, and it just shows you the map of where we were at. So we were kind of right in the middle, and it's a scenario where the state had identified it. They were just working towards it because it is a daunting task. So we'll keep going. So November 21, they got the bylaws, and it was established by the Accreditation Council. And then after that, in August, I guess the difference is in August 22, which it'll talk about, is when they had the beta testing. So the differences are, we talk about standards. In Kansas Law Enforcement accreditation process, there's 127 standards versus 185 in CLIA. What that means is a standard are things that we will do. So an example of that is we have a policy that talks about new hire officers. And one of our standards talks about every new hire officer will have the oath of office and will have the code of ethics. And so those are standards that are in there that we have to prove we've given to them one way or another. So that's how they pick those things. And those apply to policies throughout the department. So on the first 9 test beta agencies, as you can see, they had Sheriff Department, Lawrence PD. That was launched December 1st is kind of when that happened. So we are in the self-assessment portion of it. And what that means is, as the state has set down these standards, these guidelines for best practice, we are trying to ensure that our policies are matching the guidelines set forth by the state. For us, it has so far been very easy because we were so far along, probably 80 to 85% along through our CLIA process, that the reality of it is all we have to do is kind of tweak our numbers and our verbiage just a little bit. Nothing big, large scale has changed because CLIA was best practice and these policies are best practice. Best practice for the state of Kansas, best practice for the nation, the information that we're gathering. So self-assessment, we're going to update our policies, develop a timeline for completion. So as it works is we'll go through a policy with our guidelines and we adjust it, and then we push that information out to patrol and the rest of the department for feedback and guidance. We want to be able to give them the why we might ask them to do something and to be able to establish it inside the policy. So it takes everybody in the department to make this work. It really does, to make sure we're meeting those standards. When we talked about it, the CALEAP program, and it was kind of talked about up there, it's a program designed for Kansas, by Kansas. It is also a program, we know they've definitely kept the costs where it's easy to do. It's $500 a year. The reason they kept the cost so much lower than anywhere else is because, as was up there, we have so many small agencies across the state of Kansas that it would be a financial burden to ask them. But the state identified we want everybody doing the best thing. Like, there's no reason we shouldn't be practicing the best way we can. So any questions that you might have for me?
You may talk about federal grants.
So, okay, yes, absolutely. So one thing that they talked about and has been brought up is we know the feds have talked about if without an accreditation program at a state level or your agency being accredited by the state or CLIA, it definitely lowers the ability of you to receive federal grants across the board, be it a COPS grant or anything to that nature, because they want to see the accreditation so you can show that you're doing the best practices.
So I would also add that at this current time, there are about 35 agencies that are in self-assessment. And so our timeline for being accredited and getting that assessment, I would like to say by the end of the year, because we feel like we're in a position with our policies and procedures to be able to expedite that 2-year period into basically one. Most agencies, so those 35, most of them will be assessed at some point next year. And there's probably another 30 agencies that are on the verge of signing on with the program. So it's really new. There's going to be a lot of opportunities, and there's going to be a lot of agencies that observe what's going on in the first round. So we're hoping to be a role model for other agencies. So that way they can identify the positives in it and maybe join into that program at that time. Do you have any questions?
Is there any other agency that's further down the road than we are here?
That's a good question. So there are probably 2 or 3 other agencies in the state of Kansas that are CALEA certified. Andover is one of those that is CALEA certified, and they have already obtained their Kansas Law Enforcement Accreditation Program. But as a side note, their police chief is also the president of the Accreditation Council.
Makes a big difference.
So, yeah, so they wanted to be the first one on the new road, so to speak. But I would say that a lot of the CALEA agencies are going to have a leg up in that process. And that's why I feel like where we're at with all the work that we had already previously put in puts us in a really great spot with this particular program.
Is this a $500 a year type of thing we're in, or just a one-time $500 to get you accredited? Or
it'll be a recurring charge for $500, and
the other one was like 3,000, wasn't it? Or
yes,
yeah,
yes,
big difference.
And with the CALEA, we had put in a lot of investment in upgrading the facilities. There were also other costs for technology. So this is a much cheaper option for accreditation. But
the standards is as high as the other one, or higher than the other one. Okay.
Yeah, probably just as high. It has a few less standards because CALEA is more geared for the entire nation. So whatever the trends may be on the East Coast or West Coast, they accommodate those with CALEA. What's nice about Kansas is that those standards are tailored to Kansas communities.
It's a big difference too.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate all you guys do.
Public Service Department.
I think we ran out of money. Or spent $880,000.
Seems like. Let her read this, and then we'll go for it.
A resolution authorizing the annual government rental agreement with Prairie Land Partners LLC of Winfield, Kansas to rent a 6MR John Deere tractor for an 8-month, 30-hour term for an amount not to exceed $7,950 per year.
Good evening, Mayor, Commission. The reason we want to try this year is the rental agreement and the cost seem to be very friendly for us at this time, budget-wise. And I think in talking to other, like Winfield and the surrounding townships, this is a pretty good deal that is real budget-friendly, and it's maintenance-friendly. Because the only thing we have to pay for is, like I said, and the deal was a flat tire, maybe a broken mirror. Any other cost is covered through the warranty on the agreement. We're only tied to it for 1 year. If we choose to get out, well, then we're only out what little bit of money we've spent, which I think we can recover anyway from selling the old tractor and the Batwing on Purple Wave. So to me, this is a good trial run for us as well. I do have a younger brother that works for the city of Winfield, and he said the tractors are the nicest tractors that John Deere has provided. You know, you're not buying one for a farm or something with GPS and all that stuff. So, you know, we're not just buying, we're not getting the average mower or tractor. So I think it'd be a good deal for the city, and plus save us a little money financially so we can see where we want to go from there. The Batwing we're proposing is a rotary cut 1000 PTO from Wichita Tractor Company. It's $29,100. This type of mower we already have in use in our department. We purchased it from Wichita Tractor. And we just feel this would be better for us to go with the articulating rear end on the levee system. We're not causing ruts, which we're already under scrutiny on for that levee anyway. So this would be a little more friendly for us. They are 15 feet wide, so we'll get a nice large cut with it. And we're very experienced on the maintenance of them and everything else.
These are,
We need a vote on the first
that's,
resolution.
I was gonna ask, are we went to,
No, I know.
I want a package deal, Charles. It's not gonna do me any good with that deal.
On the first one, I make a motion authorizing an annual government rental agreement with the Prairie Lands Partners LLC of Winfield, Kansas to rent a 6M-R John Deere tractor for 8 months, -300 hour term for a not amount not to exceed $7,950.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion?
what's the difference between the 8-month 300 hour or the 12-month 350 hour?
What's the difference?
I mean, why do we want 8 months, 300 hours?
Well, because there's gonna be a few months that just, the tractor's gonna sit. So I'd rather it sit on their lot than our yard.
I see.
And not pay the extra amount for the rental.
It's about $2,500 more.
Okay, 20, okay, there, that's,
Oh, you want it.
thank you.
Money.
Yeah, thank you there. Thank you for.
That's why she got one of the awards right there.
There we go.
That's exactly right.
All right, perfect. Thank you. That was the answer I was looking for.
Any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Okay. A resolution authorizing the purchase of a Land Pride RCM 7515 rotary cutter -1000 PTO from Wichita Tractor Company in amount not to exceed $29,100.
I make a motion that we authorize the purchase of Land Pride RCM 5715 rotary cutter, 1,000 PTO from the Wichita Tractor Company for amount not to exceed $29,100.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion?
All these are in stock, so you don't have to wait or nothing, right?
Yes, yes.
And are we paying, you just writing one check to pay for these, or are we doing month to month? Are we doing?
No, the Batwing we're gonna purchase outright. That'll be ours. The other one is a lease agreement.
So, okay, and so okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And I'm sure you've checked around. This is your best price.
Yes.
Further discussion? No,
I actually
proceed.
was looking. Oh, here. Up front, 2 separate installments or monthly. We were just paying it up front. I'm sorry, I'm not projecting now. I'm thinking out loud.
You should see a little bubble over my head as words in it. Okay, all right, thank you.
Let's proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Thank you.
Items for discussion by the city commission.
Oh, we're the side-by-side stuff, that's next month.
Next meeting.
Or next meeting, okay.
Meeting. Okay. I queried, I think we're waiting for some sort of response or no response. We're just kind of curious, one of our vendors, is that the right way to say it? With whom we franchise for operation in the community. I'd gotten, not because I'm a commissioner, but just because I have penny counting friends, some comments and concerns about our Cox cable. And the fact that today's another illustration, all the outage, but people are reluctant to call them asking for service because when they come out to do maintenance or repair on their equipment, they've been tagging customers with this shock fee, this $100 fee for coming into the houses. And I really I hoped that someone would come and explain that policy. I mean, when you marry the two together, okay, all right, something's wrong, I call you because I'm paying for your service, you come out, and then you say, I'm going to charge you $100 for fixing our equipment in your house. You marry that with, my records show that February 16th and then again on March 7th of this year, there have been a protracted community-wide outages of service. Has me concerned about, are they maintaining? Are they investing in their infrastructure, or are they just letting it fail and then zapping customers? Sounds indicting, but it would be less of a concern if somebody was here just to say, this is what we do, this is how we do it, and so our customers don't need to be shocked. I think we're not here to tell them how to run their business. It's just this is a good forum for people in the community to know what to expect in dealing with them, is my thought.
So I reached out to them after our last meeting, and they did email back. They were going to do some checking and get back to me. I did reach out again today. I hadn't heard anything back, and they said that there was some sickness and they're waiting to get some answers back from someone else in their company. So hopefully we'll have some better answers for the next meeting. So
okay, thank you.
Anything else?
Good. Can I do one more?
Sure you can. Do whatever you want.
Well, I could sing then too. No, I won't say. I am curious, still expressing my concerns about, I know we've voted by majority to proceed with allow Creekstone Farms to proceed with their plans to open up a integrated child care system near their operational facility. I still am concerned about the children being that close to an industrial environment. And I'm just wondering, is there any way, is there any partner that we could identify with that might be able to track the children and infants who are in that environment to see if there are any sort of clusters of illnesses that emerge? I don't want to say one. There's a advertisement that's been on television for the last several months now about families that were all stationed at one point in time in a place where they were exposed to some hazardous elements, but here we are 40 years later. And they're saying, if you have these health complications, it may be related to that. So I'm kind of curious whether or not we might not expect to see a cluster of, 10 to 12-year-olds down the road that have grown up next door to commercial vehicles and commercial operations and chemicals being used in plants that show some common health maladies. But I don't know if there's a way we can track who's been in that environment, who might have grown up in that environment. The answer could be no. I'm okay with the answer being no. I just want to know if there's a possibility that.
There might be something that you take to our county health department and ask them to.
I'm thinking they may be a partner. I'm thinking SK Health might be a partner. Somebody interested in being able to see if there's any phenomena that emerges out of babies in that environment over time.
Is that all? Do we have anyone signed up from the audience?
No, Mayor, we
Okay. I'll entertain adjournment.
So moved.
We have management board.
Yeah, I don't think I got on there tonight, but, so I left a pile of papers in front of y'all. So we're having our, Blarney breakfast on the 17th of, March. It's kind of a come and go from 6 a.m. to 8:30, so, you're invited to join the employees over there for that. There is a, it's called Stand Up Rural America Regional Forum. It'll be, at the Kansas Star Event Center in Mulvane, and I left some information on that. It's April 5th or 4th and 5th.
And what is that? I mean,
So it's a lot about economic development and housing and, just kind of,
Downtown, everything.
yeah, downtown.
Covers everything that Will deals with.
Yeah. So, I believe it's, half a day on Tuesday, like 1 to 6 on Tuesday, which is a commission day, so something we might think about.
Moving commission meeting.
And then it's Wednesday from basically 7 a.m. to 3:30 on the next day. So if you guys want to, if I recall, I think there was I'll have to look back, but I think there was a package where if we had five people or more, we could get a certain price versus the individual registration. So let me know if you're interested in that. We can.
I think it's.
Yeah, I'm planning on it. Yeah.
we had to casino.
Yeah. It's the 5 of us went.
Then Rise Cali has a Health at the Forefront meeting on April 12th from 1 to 4. It's really about for the leadership of the community and how to make decisions based on a lot of things that we saw the other day at the Cali Health Walk or Data Walk. So if you're interested in going that 1 to 4 at the 4 counties facility on the 12th, I can register for that if you'd like to. I wonder, make sure everybody knew we have the community survey going on. It's a collaboration of the city, Cali College, the Rec Commission, and US 470. It's just kind of a survey that's going out there to see what the community needs are and how these entities can work together to meet those needs rather than all this going off on individual projects. So make sure you take that survey and share your information there. And then a few project updates that we have. The downtown alley project is starting to move pretty quick now. You know, like anything else underground, you don't know what's there. And when they got stuff, started removing concrete and things, the gas line was too shallow, and so that had to be removed. And so, and then they had some problems with the power poles when they put in the first manhole. That kind of slowed some things down. So, but it seems to be kind of picking up now. They're getting their legs under them and going. So hopefully that'll get wrapped up here pretty soon without any problems. As you remember, we had the wastewater plant meeting last meeting, and things are going well there. They're about 75% done. The Madison Mill and Overlay from Summit to 8th Street, that project's been awarded. We're just waiting for it to be on schedule. Of course, this isn't asphalt season. Plants are closed down stuff. So we'll let you know as soon as that gets scheduled and going. And the hike and bike trail phase 2 that goes from Paris Park down along the Mill Canal to the Cali Rec Center or athletic facility. Still working through with the engineer and the KDOT are working through some plan design issues there. So hopefully that gets worked out really soon so we can get that going. The 15th Street Bridge, we're still waiting on some materials to be delivered. So again, the project's awarded and ready to go. It's just waiting on
the cost is all locked in. So
yeah. The HEAL grant that was awarded, that's starting to move now. Some of the money has already started flowing on that. So hopefully we'll start seeing some action on that building. And the master transportation, the transportation plan around this Jefferson school. He called me the other day and he was telling me then 7 to 10 days they ought to have it wrapped up. So He did say they were just working out a few details on some crosswalks and stuff that they wanted to get engineering drawings on and stuff. So again, we've been hearing that for months now, but I think it's getting closer. So anyway, that's all the projects I had to update you on.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
I'll second.
Favor say aye.
Second. They made the motion, not second.
A second.